Let me guess. You're smart, successful, self-aware. You've read the books, done the work, maybe even been in therapy. When it comes to love, you keep attracting the same kind of person, emotionally unavailable, confusing, hot and cold, leaving you questioning your worth. Again, you're starting to wonder, what the hell is wrong with me that I keep ending up here? The truth? Nothing's wrong with you, but something is stuck, and it's time we fix that today. In this short video, I'm going to give you 5 simple, powerful shifts that you can start using immediately to stop repeating this exhausting cycle and start attracting the kind of love that feels safe, reciprocal, and real. These are things I've seen help hundreds of men and women fast track their path from frustration to clarity without second guessing themselves or settling for crumbs ever again. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why you keep choosing people who aren't emotionally available, how to shift your internal wiring so you stop attracting what hurts, the fastest way to feel powerful and magnetic in your love life again. And don't worry, this isn't fluff. This is practical, mindset changing, confidence igniting guidance from someone who has lived this, coached this, and watched it transform lives. And by the way, if any part of this hits home for you and you know you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and finally fix this, I'd love to help. I'll tell you how you can reach out to me personally at the end of this video, or just check the link below if you're ready now. For now, let's get into it. Ready to finally stop falling for emotionally unavailable people? Let's talk about the first shift that changes everything. You've met someone and bam, instant spark. The chemistry is off the charts. You talk all night, your heart races, your nervous system lights up like a pinball machine. You think, this must be it. This is the one. Here's the truth. Chemistry is not compatibility, and intensity doesn't mean intimacy. That rush you feel. It's often your nervous system responding to something familiar, not something healthy. Usually, that familiar comes from old patterns. If love used to feel like chasing, waiting, proving, or earning, then that roller coaster of emotion will feel like home. You don't need more adrenaline. You need emotional safety. You need consistency. You need peace. Real connection often feels calm, grounded, almost boring at first, and that's why so many high-achieving, self-aware men and women miss it. Because when love doesn't come wrapped in anxiety, it doesn't register as real. You've probably done it before, made a wish list of all the things you want in a partner, emotionally available, successful, funny, good communicator, wants commitment. Nothing wrong with that, except your brain is wired to seek what's familiar, not necessarily what's healthy. Even with a great list, you might still end up choosing someone who checks all the boxes, but triggers all your wounds. That's why I tell my clients, don't just make a list of what you want. Make a list of what you will no longer tolerate. I call this the no list, and it's powerful. What goes on it? I will no longer chase after emotionally unavailable people. I will not mistake inconsistency for mystery. I will not make excuses for poor communication. I will not ignore red flags just to avoid being alone. You see, the no list creates boundaries, and boundaries protect your nervous system. It gives your future self the power to walk away before you get pulled into another painful cycle. If that hit home and you're thinking, wow, I need that list like yesterday, don't worry. That's one of the tools I walk people through in my private work. If you'd like to go deeper and actually build this together, click the button below and fill out the quick application. Let's explore whether we'd be a good fit. Coming up next, the third shift is all about healing the real root that keeps repeating these patterns. Let me ask you something, and be honest, if someone treated you the way you talk to yourself, would you still be friends with them? Most people don't realize this, but your relationship with others can only be as healthy as your relationship with yourself. That means the more you abandon yourself, the more likely you are to attract someone who abandons you too. It's not because you're weak. It's because for years you've been taught to prove your worth by overgiving, overachieving, and putting your needs last. You may have grown up around emotional unavailability. Maybe you learned that love was earned, not given, that success mattered more than self-trust. What happens? You become successful. Yes. Inside, you're still carrying the ache of not feeling fully seen. Here's the truth bomb. Until you feel safe with yourself, you won't trust what safe love actually feels like. That's why, in the Zen Zone method I teach, we focus on inner freedom first, not as a woo-woo concept, but as a practical foundation for emotionally healthy love. When you shift the way you relate to yourself, everything changes. You stop chasing, you stop settling, you stop over-functioning in the hopes of being chosen. Instead, you choose you. And that energy, it's magnetic. Listen, if this resonates, if you're realizing that you might be the piece of the puzzle that needs the most love and clarity, I get it. I've been there. Click the link below, fill out the short form, and if it's a fit, we'll map out how to rebuild that connection from the inside out, so it stops costing you relationships on the outside. Now let's move into something a lot of people get wrong. It's keeping them stuck in a loop. Let me ask you something powerful. What if the reason love hasn't lasted or hasn't felt safe isn't because you're broken, but because some part of you still believes you don't deserve it? This is deep, I know. It's also liberating, because once you realize that your worth was never in question, the game changes. Here's the truth most people avoid. We don't just attract what we want, we attract what we believe we're allowed to have. If you grew up around inconsistent love, if you've had partners who criticized you, ghosted you, or made you feel small, you might unconsciously associate love with anxiety or sacrifice or proving your worth. When someone truly sees you, shows up consistently, respects your boundaries, it feels uncomfortable, foreign, even boring. That's not your fault. It's your nervous system doing its job, trying to protect you from the unknown. Here's where your power lies. You can retrain yourself to receive love that feels calm. You can choose relationships that feel safe. You can believe deeply that love is meant to nourish you, not deplete you. That starts with this simple decision. Give yourself permission. Permission to walk away from what drains you. Permission to pursue love that expands you. Permission to stop shrinking for anyone and stand fully in your light. If something about that stirred something in you, if you're ready to stop waiting and finally rewrite this story, I'd love to help. Click the button below, fill out the short application, and let's explore whether working together could be the missing piece to finally receiving the love you deserve. Let's take a breath and recap what you just learned. You identified the emotional patterns that keep drawing you toward the unavailable or emotionally distant. You saw how those patterns didn't start with them. They started with how you've been relating to yourself. You explored the belief shift required to start attracting emotionally present and aligned partners. You took your first steps out of fear and into clarity, and you've now seen the beginning of a new path, one that leads to real heart-centered connection. Here's the truth most people miss. Finding your soulmate isn't about looking harder. It's about aligning who you are with what you attract. It's an inside-out revolution. That's what I call the soulmate revolution. And it's not just about finding someone to love. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't settle anymore. It's about embodying your worth, honoring your heart, and finally showing up with the confidence and magnetism that calls in the relationship you deserve. What now? If what you've seen today resonated deeply, I'd love to invite you to take the next step. Click the button below this video. Fill out a short private application to request a complimentary 1.1 session with me. I'll review it personally, and if it feels aligned, we'll hop on a call where I'll map out a personalized strategy for you. It's not a sales call. It's not a pitch. It's a real conversation to help you see exactly how to break old patterns, heal the root of your disconnection, attract the love that feels like home. So if your inner voice is saying, yes, this is your sign. Don't let another year pass wondering why it hasn't worked yet. Your revolution starts now. Let's create it together. Join the Soulmate Revolution. Apply for your free strategy session now.